Hanashi Round with Video Summer. I'm Nemo, and we're hosting together with Dennis to talk about the first episode of Deca-Dence. So, a new anime, an original, and the first episode so far was pretty awesome. Like, seriously, I wasn't that flashed by an anime in quite a while, and I really liked it, enjoyed the thing. It has an incredible soundtrack. It has pretty fun and awesome characters. It has fun situations. It's cute, but it's also not too cutesy that it takes away from the whole nastiness and grimness of the surrounding and the environment that was built up. The lore seems to be quite deep, which is actually very awesome. I mean, it makes me hope that there is much more to see in the future and that it is not another Listeners. But considering the production quality so far and the overall design and how thought through it is, I don't expect it to be.
Yeah, like you said, it looks incredibly good on the first
Definitely.
look.
Even the CGI doesn't look terrible. I was very surprised. The whole show reminds me of a mix between Monster Hunter and Earth Defense Force, which are two games I really love and enjoy playing with my brothers. So this hit me pretty well. It was like, yeah, that's the spot. I love it. The monster designs, despite being just mashup monsters between existing things here on Earth, it's not bad. They look pretty cool, and the idea behind it of using the monster parts and recycling them. If you ever played Monster Hunter, you're very aware that this is the thing, that it is very good to beat up a monster.
I did not.
Well, I will educate them. You beat up a monster, you take its parts, you make something awesome like an armor or a weapon out of it, and then you go beat up their brothers and sisters and mother and father and maybe other bigger monsters to get better parts.
That sounds very cruel.
It is very cruel, but it's also very cool.
Cool and cruel.
Cool and cruel. In any case, the animations are outstanding. The CGI was good.
Outstanding move.
But it was cool. And I was also very surprised by the characters, that they feel very alive and very vivid. The character designs are not similar or samey. You have multiple character designs for different people, and they even change in size or face structure, which is very cool and you don't see very often.
That's right. I mean, like, overall, like, no, let's not go into an overall. Like, let's okay. So let's try to go through it a bit, but not too much. I mean, like, we have to assume that everyone who's watching this probably watched the episode already, so no spoiler tag intended, because yeah, you should already be spoiled for this episode. Like you said, it started with already pretty nice with the city and the father of the main girl being like kind of a archaeologist or something, and discovering that robot right in the beginning, and I was like, like they managed to give this world throughout the episode a lot of depth, and they started off with this robot, and they already had this little mystical mystic background part like planted there. Now we know that they don't even know what happened to their world. Just from that one sentence he said, like, seems like stuff happened that we're not aware of, and they show this robot, so we know, like, okay, something went down. And maybe like the history got kind of erased or something like that, so they don't know themselves what happened outside really. And I think this show could be what I thought or hoped for Kami no To to be. Like a story that develops the background and the lore and the history of its own universe, and it has big twists coming up. I feel like I can really feel the twists already. I mean, like,
know, it's pouring out of every pore.
Right.
It's really cool. I mean, what I also like about the show, there is so little exposition. They show you what is happening.
Yeah, except for this one moment in the beginning where they had literally exposition, like telling the backstory. Right.
You know, the class, it was a device, and it's fair enough.
Yeah, it was alright.
It's not like I remember one thing from Attack on Titan that bothered me so much when it happened. You see this one Titan coming through the gate and is opening it up, and then someone runs along, stops in front of the main group, and shouts at them, "Oh, there is an armored Titan! It's so rare, and I've never seen something like this before. And it just opened up the gate. The walls have fallen. We must escape." And I was like, I just saw that. Thank you.
I saw a video once where someone tried to explain why they do it like that, and it was like bad translation from the manga, because they were like, okay, this is non-moving panels, and we don't really know what the people see and what they experience. But anyways, we're already way off track again.
In any case, I was positively surprised how fast-paced it is. The episode felt full of content without much fluff. I mean, despite having some fluff, how she is learning, how she is scrubbing, how she tries to impress her boss and wants to get to know him better and is interested to get his approval, and also with the small animal he holds.
Yeah.
But overall, it didn't feel like too drawn out or too many things where I was like, please move on. Overall, it felt great because it's a new world. It has an overall incredibly cool design. I mean, the designs for the shelters they have with the storage boxes, they make sense. Of course, the whole fortress and how the fortress functions and the transforming, especially in the end, is really over the top. But I mean, that's what we're here for, right? For anime and for this kind of over-the-top nonsense that we love. At least I do.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, and I started this episode thinking this was an adaptation of a manga or a light novel, and which it isn't. It isn't original. But I thought this is an adaptation, and at first, like, they were kind of rushing through this part where she is getting the job and learning the job and scrubbing the outside, and I was like, they're rushing too much through it. I felt like they were like trying to kind of brush over the development in the beginning and get to the action. But now in retrospective, I feel like they could have spent more time with that, but and made the first episode more like, they could have had the first half of this episode be its own episode, give the whole thing a bit more air to breathe, and we could have just get more natural exposition and learn how this city works just from the stuff she experiences. But and it's not like a big thing, I guess. So
with this, I just say again, I really wish they'd do another way of formatting these things, of not having just 20 minutes. This episode, especially, would have been great as a 40 minutes one-off, kind of. So we can develop the world more and go in depth, and then show the big action in the end.
That sometimes happens.
Yeah, for me, the action in the end was very important to just give me the last kick of yes, I really like the show. I want to continue. I was so bummed out I couldn't just binge the entire thing right now.
So
Being
basically,
used to the whole Netflix.
what I really felt fascinating was the rich world. Like we get a lot of world building, and it felt a lot like it reminded me a lot of Darling in the Franxx, from the concept of them living in these like locked off bases in a deserted world where some strange monsters attack, and they feed off the ingredient kind of from the monster itself. That was very, very Darling in the Franxx. That's basically the same idea, and I felt like, okay. So like I smell the mysteries and twists in this whole thing, and so much teases for mysteries in this first episode. I'm a sucker for mystery stuff and develop stuff and twisty stuff where like, oh, what is this? Oh, what is that? Oh, I hope this develops in something great. And we've got so much in this one episode. And I don't know, I quickly would like to go through these little hints of there is something going on that we've got. Because, so, starting off, we've got this robot. And like really in the beginning, where the dad from the girl finds this robot, and this is the first hint that there is something hidden, like some history is hidden. They don't know really what's going on. Then we have these monsters, and they don't know where these monsters came from. They were just like there, which is also kind of, have you seen this is Shinseki no Yori or something like that, Tales from the New World, something like that. I don't know.
No, I haven't.
Really awesome show. And it's the same kind of thing, like, oh, we have these weird creatures. They were just there, just like with Darling in the Franxx, and it had some kind of the same outcome where these creatures came from. So I feel like we are in for a similar, I'm not going to spoil that because it would spoil 2 other shows that people might have not seen. But I feel like it could have a similar outcome, like people just like, where do they come from? Here's the big twist, it's actually this, and everyone is like you know, I feel like this could happen.
I'm quite excited about this show to unravel its mysteries and show us what else it got. There is so much, and as I said before, I really enjoy the designs. I mean, the robots, from what we can gather so far, look kind of silly, but why do they look that way? Were they built by humans? Were they built by aliens? By what kind of creature were they built? How did the animals develop? Why do they look like animals from Earth that were just meshed together? Is it something that was genetically engineered? Is it some weird mutation? I love how they immediately gave names to these different creatures, and we have different types of them. They look all interesting. They don't just look stupid and silly, like, all right, yeah, we got a creature, they kill it off. But no, there is actually some thought in the design, and they use the design they have to fight. And I thought that is incredible and really cool.
Yeah,
that thing is ugly as fuck, but come on, it's. I would cuddle it, maybe.
No, I think it would be nightmare fuel if you transfer it into 3D. It would be very terrifying.
I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like a whale, right? So maybe it's a mix between a
a really sick whale.
Well, like a pug whale. Imagine you put a dolphin into the body of a pug.
Yeah,
and that's what you get.
Yeah,
nightmare fuel. You're right.
Like it's one of these failed fusions from Dragon Ball, and you have a pug and a dolphin fucking up this fusion dance. This would maybe come out of that. So what do you think? So what I really liked, and I thought it is, I mean, like, the whole system of the world. I feel like I give them credit, like a benefit of a doubt so far, that this world is thought through. So thinking about the world, we have this giant base that is fueled by the blood, kind of, or some kind of energy that is in these weird creatures. So from a historical standpoint, you would have to have the creatures first, or you wouldn't be able to use them as an energy source.
Exactly.
So they would have would have to be there first. Second is that they kind of flood the city with this green blood kind of thing, and it's, like we said, fueling the city, and they're all so eating these creatures, which is a bit disgusting. And that's what I think is going to become one of the twists that I could see, that maybe these creatures are just some kind of transformed humans, and this is totally my theory, because we've seen some of these, not tankers were the people that were staying in the base, right? What were the name of the other ones? Tankers and hunters? Gears, right, gears. We've seen some of these gears having very unhealthy skin color, like pink or green. And I was like, So I'm assuming those are not aliens or some kind of subspecies, but humans. So why are they pink or green? And maybe consuming this meat or being exposed to the blood or energy from these creatures transforms humans into these creatures. So maybe every one of these weird creatures is or was once a gear. That's my theory. And that's why it would make it so disgusting when they eat them, because they would realize at some point how that happened, and then the whole world will just crumble, like for the protagonists as they learn the truth. I hope this is going to happen.
Incredibly awesome. That would be incredibly awesome and really a mindfuck that we haven't encountered in a while. That would also make sense why the boss is so jaded, maybe, and is not interested in hunting anymore, or especially in having anything to do with the world. He is just doing his job and protecting the little creature thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, he seems to have some kind of hidden agenda or hidden mission, because it seems like he definitely isn't a tanker. He's definitely a gear. Like, he fought in the end like the best guy from all of them. He was the most talented fighter, so definitely this isn't a coincidence. And we had this other scene where he I don't know, follows this drunken person or whatever he was, and kind of scans him or does something to him, and then he has a dialogue with some kind of superior, and he's like, yeah, I got his chip, okay, nice, but you're working way not hard enough, gather more chips, you lazy bum. So I was like, so this was also another kind of
that's another mystery
layer,
and that's what I really enjoy, that there's so many layers to this, that there's so many secrets to unravel, and it seems to have a deep world that we can still encounter and learn about.
Right. I was a bit shocked and in the beginning where the girl lost an arm. That kind of came unexpected.
It came unexpected. I haven't seen something like this since Full Metal Alchemist, where we have a character who is basically crippled in a way as the main. Especially here, it's not that she got a replacement that functions exactly or almost exactly like human ligaments. I mean,
it's not a beauty.
Yeah, she uses it almost like a real hand, but you can see at times where she has to move differently or hold things differently because of that arm. And that is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. And I think they could have just said that that she's not built to be a gear and that's it, but they gave it more like of a bigger backstory because she has this disability and that's why she can't do it.
No, that is actually quite cool. That made it more believable, and yeah, it was a better immersion than I expected to get. When I read the blurb of, yeah, she wants to be a gear but can't be for some reason, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, because why? And now it totally makes sense, and it gives it more emphasis on the whole thing.
By the way, if anyone wants to join our discussion in the voice chat, just come to our little Discord server and you could become a part of this awesome discussion. Anyways, yeah, next big secret is, and I think it is the last one, I'm not sure. It was right at the end, and I was like, what the hell is now happening? Because right before the episode wrapped up, we had some weird face that said something like, yeah, the city, I don't know even what it said, like, maybe, wait a second, I can look it up in my screenshots, because it said something like, prepare the city, or something like that, city, next step, keine Ahnung, I don't know, something like that, and let me check here, where these creatures appeared, and we had this weird little view of a city which looked from the art style totally out of place, and I was like what what's now going on?
Especially since we got the idea that the boss, what's his name, by the way, I forgot. Boss guy.
I don't know. The boss guy, right?
He has to eliminate bugs. First of all, why do people have chips implanted into them? Isn't that kind of too special, too expensive overall? And what are the bugs? Are those creatures the bugs, or is the bug something entirely different? I mean, it's so exciting to just want to know more.
Yeah, it's an awesome show to theorize about, because like I said, so far I give them the benefit of a doubt that everything will make sense in the end, and it's not a listeners 2.0, and they have just like I said in this one episode so much 4 different mystery plots already in place that I'm just too interested to see where this is going. So I'm really excited. I'm really hyped for this one. And just to go this to talk about the animations for a second, the art style, I liked it, and at places, at times, it reminded me a bit of Trigger, like what you would expect from Trigger, not like a Kill la Kill kind of show. And the animations was pretty nice, especially in the end when the fight scene started, and I was like, okay, this is now where we see if it's good or bad or lazy. And it was pretty crazy, and they went all out, and they did not, I mean, like, of course there was some CG, but it wouldn't be unseen, and I would have even expected them to fully do the crazy moving of the MCs and fighting of the MCs in total CG, and they did not do that.
I was also surprised that some of the monsters weren't full on CG. Like the first monster that appeared in the beginning with the father of the main girl, it wasn't CG, which was really cool. I was like, come on, they'll CG all the monsters, it will be like this. And then it wasn't. It totally blew me away. I was so happy. I mean, I have nothing against CG. It's just that if it's bad or too recognizable, then it sucks.
Do you have any idea?
Yeah.
For example, it was totally. Keep talking, please.
The big turtle monster in the end that appeared. No, not turtle, whale, whatever it was. The big monster. Yeah. I mean, it was CG, but it still fit enough into the world and into the environment that it didn't take you out of it, where you were like, wow, this looks like PS2 graphics. Awesome.
Sometimes when you do it well, and especially with a show like this and you have these outlandish monsters, I feel like if you do it in CG, it kind of adds to the immersion because it like kind of supports how out of this world they are when they really do not blend well with the environment in a way. So you have an excuse to do them in CG, I guess. So yeah, what I wanted to ask, do you have any kind of idea, any kind of theory what these weird creatures in the end were? These comical...
Well, my theory is that those are the bugs the people were talking about beforehand that he has to extract. They are basically microorganisms living in either the people or the blood in itself.
That is transforming the humans. I mean, like, it looks like a freaking city. It looks even a bit too comical for my tastes.
I know. But that's why I think it's microorganisms or something like nanobots or something that are just stylized that way. I don't know. It just crazy. First, when I thought, I was like, those are probably the robot that we're talking about right in the beginning. But then they looked even too different from the robot.
Yeah,
or
maybe it's the next generation, of these robots. I mean, like, really, it could be everything. It could be just another place of the world somewhere, or in space, some kind of aliens. It could be everything. So I'm really positively, I'm really hyped, I'm really excited. I really want to see where this is going. This looks so interesting. And what I wanted to point out, and I don't know if I'm the only one that, maybe I'm paranoid or I see things where things aren't. Maybe give me your honest opinion about this. I felt the whole show was more Trigger than everything Trigger put out in the last few years. Like, the whole story for me screams Trigger. It's like we have this on top level, pretty normal kind of thing, and yeah, it's this girl and she wants to become this, and that's it. And every person is a bit comical and a bit funny, but very likable, and it's a kind of a cutesy but not too cutesy style. But we already see that behind these layers there is a big mystery going on. This is super Trigger. Then we had these scenes where the names appear and we have the katakana on the screen and it's like this is the person kind of thing. That was very Trigger. And we had like the screenshot on screen, we have different, especially with this general kind of dude, a lot of scenes where he was commanding the transformation of the city, and it looked like super Trigger-y for me, at least. The perspectives they had was super Trigger-esque, and I looked it up because I thought maybe I'm going crazy, and I'm not sure if I'm just crazy or seeing things, but the director of this show worked on Kill la Kill and Kisnaiva, which were both like Trigger shows. He had really very small roles. He just directed 1 or 2 episodes on Kill la Kill, I think. But maybe I'm trying to make a connection here, because I really felt like, look at this screenshot. Isn't this the first thing that would come to mind? It looks like Trigger. I mean, like, it felt so Trigger-esque. And like I said, I'm going to say there is a big twist going on. The world is not going to be what it's going to be, like what it seems, and it is going to have this Trigger-esque twist that you would expect from a Trigger show. And I wouldn't even, I mean, like, it's a meme kind of that aliens are always the thing that Trigger pulls out of his ass after the twist. But maybe it's freaking aliens this time again. I'm not sure.
I know. I love that. The show reminded me a lot of Gurren Lagann in some perspectives.
Yeah.
And now let me put a theory out there that is incredibly crazy. They are not on Earth. They are not on Earth. They are invaders on another planet, and they're the last to survive.
Oh, and they don't even know that themselves.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
They don't know that themselves.
Oh.
And they are basically the invaders, and the creatures are basically fighting back the invaders.
I like
people
that.
And I don't know. I just have that thought, or I would
Yeah.
love it to be true. It would be so cool. Yeah, you're totally right. It feels very triggery, like the whole style, the mix between cute, funny, and chibi, and then we go to the more serious thing, incredible animations,
Cool
very cool
fighting.
designs. Yeah, awesome characters that are proactive. What I like about the girl, Natsume.
Oh, don't ask me. Maybe in a
All right,
sixth episode I can
the
tell you.
girl. The girl, she's very proactive. She is very forward, and she is very ambitious, and I love that.
just like some trigger female main characters. Like Michiru.
Yeah, I just wanted to say she feels like Michiru in good, in better.
Oh,
Michiru
okay.
was good. Michiru was good, but she is just better. She is what I would have hoped Michiru to be.
Right. And my last thing, I wasn't finished with my trigger comparison. There is one thing that I feel like is really triggery, was the whole transformation of the city in the end, like when it punched the whale. And I mean, like, let's all agree, I think we expected this thing to fire a laser and not punch the whale. That was kind of okay. There came a fist out of the city. That was kind of weird, I felt. But
let me say, I would have been almost disappointed if it wasn't a fist. Like the fist, it was like, whoa!
yeah, but this again,
yes.
the unexpected weirdness totally felt trigger-esque for me. And or like what you would expect from trigger, like what they're known for. And maybe I'm kind of going crazy, but I'm also going to put out a little theory here. I say, in the end, and I hope this has 24 episodes, because we know yet, but I hope it has 24 episodes. I really hope, and I'm kind of expected the city at some point to turn into a mech and fight something, like a real mech kind of fight. And then nobody can tell me that I was wrong, because if that thing turns into a mech, then this is like a one-on-one, like a Trigger show. They tried to emulate the Trigger style 1,000,000%. I'm now saying this, and I'm happy to be wrong. No, I would not be happy to be wrong, because it would be awesome if I was right, just because the show would be great if I would be right. But I would have no problem with admitting that I was wrong. I'm saying this is going to be the full Trigger, going the full Trigger route, full twists, maybe even aliens, big mechs. It's going to be crazy. I say it. People will say, in the end, this was the Trigger show that wasn't a Trigger show, and was like, it so burns under my fingernails to rant about Trigger. But I feel like this could become the most Trigger-esque show since Kill la Kill, or I like Darling in the Franxx since Darling in the Franxx. That's my statement.
I am very much looking forward to it. I just love how this show in episode 1 has us speculating so much, has us hyped so much.
Right.
I mean, compared to last season where we were like, oh, yeah, it was nice, it was sweet, it was... And here we were full on like, yes, it will be like this, it will be like that. Come on.
Right. And I'm really sad to see that this episode, that the show at this moment only ranks at 7 on my anime list. I mean, like, normally shows rank really high and then it goes down. And if this only starts with a 7.0 kind of, I'm like, come on, what's wrong with you people? This, if the name fucking Trigger would be attached to this would start with a 9. Come on, just think, just act like it is Trigger, because it totally could be Trigger.
Totally. All right.
I hope
But
this.
I
I
think-
really hope. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I really hope this gets the attention it deserves, because it looks so great. it is well animated, it is an original, and it takes chances, and it really delivers. I mean, like, it is only one episode, but this first episode was so solid on everything it did that I really hope people will pick it up.
I mean, the only disappointment I could see is if people wanted a very serious tone similar to Attack on Titan and got something that is very silly in between and goes very over the top. But I must say, I raised an eyebrow when I first saw the fortress transform, especially with the big cannon it now put on. But then when the punch came, I was like totally sold, and I was like, yes, I didn't know I wanted that, but this is exactly what I was missing. It is so anime. The whole thing is so anime, and it's what I love about anime, and that is why I think it's so good and great.
Like I said, this is my end statement, and I said it already. This is nothing surprising. This is as trigger as it gets, even though it's not, like, by a far stretch has some kind of trigger connections, and maybe the director is a super big diehard Trigger fan, and that's why it happened. I'm just speculating here, but like I said, nobody can tell me otherwise. I say this is totally inspired by Trigger, and it could totally be a Trigger show and not feel out of place at this point. So that's my closing thought. Anything you want to get out?
No, I think you summed it up very well. And
all right,
I'm very interested what you guys think, or what you guys thought of the show.
Definitely leave a comment. And let's talk about the Trigger connection.
We really want to have this discussion with you guys because we're super excited, and it's something we feel very hyped about to talk about, and want to know more what you might say about it.
And I think we should definitely at this season we should do episode by episode review for this show, like we did with Kaminoto last season, because I think like this has the most potential, and it's even an original. We can't even get spoiled, so it's very fresh even to speculate about it. So I think
absolutely.
So if you want more discussions about Deca-Dence, if you love it, if you're interested in it, if you like the theorizing about it with us, you can join even the voice chat next time. Become a part of the channel, become a part of the discussion, become a part of whatever, of our plans for world domination. You know, right. So like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that silly stuff, and I'm out for now. See you in the next episode.
Right. See you next episode. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.